Hello everyone, and welcome back to Backlog Banter. My name is Tucker Hazel, and this is my better late than never co-host, Abram Buter, and today we are here to do BLB again. You know how the rigmarole, you know how it goes. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, like the comment, be a good person. That's my command for the week.
And if you join the Discord, you can tell us the games you've been playing, and then we'll read them out on the show, except for this time because we didn't do that.
No, we forgot. Yeah.
Fuck it. Fuck it. And in a reference to our brilliant channel trailer, fuck the viewers of Backlog Banter.
Fuck the viewers of Backlog Banter. That's what I've always been saying. I say that in every one of our videos. But Abram, we've got a lot to talk about today because I have, some might say, overcorrected in my video game playing, and that might be an understatement, the understatement of the year. But I went approximately 2.5 months without really gearing into video games like I would say I usually am, though I ebb and flow. I played Elden Ring, I played Kirby, I played Pokemon, I played the Call of Duty games I was required to. But other than that,
Sure.
I wasn't experimenting like I usually am. So I can't exactly remember what it was that kicked it. Actually, no, I do remember what it was. I played Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the review of which just went up as a recording today. A great game, and kind of kickstarted me back into, hey, maybe I should be trying some other video games. So I've got a lot to talk about today, but I'm glad to be back. I've got an interesting collection for us to talk about.
I will say, just as a quick injunction, not to use that word's used improperly, but it doesn't matter. I actually am planning on playing MW. I've got a number of games I have to beat for various work-related functions. Stanley game. But I think after Stanley game, I'm gonna play Modern Warfare.
We've got a special event. Vasectomy. Before we get into our games, because I just decided we're gonna do a little unboxing here on
Oh, I wonder what it is. Is it a copy of Nintendo Switch Sports?
It could be a copy of Nintendo Switch Sports because
Show the address. Show the address.
No, I turned it the other way specifically so that would not happen. But here we go, Nintendo Switch Sports. Everyone get a good look. So it's a pretty nice box. It comes in a box because I got the physical version, which comes with a leg strap, which I don't need because I already have one for Ring Fit.
You could strap it onto your other leg and jump in the air every time you kick and play 2-player. Like you're doing the can.
The can. I can't remember the last time I did the can. Now I'm having now start talking about it again. I'm having trouble getting the sticker off.
So this is a true fact about me. I like Switch games that come in cardboard boxes.
How many are there?
We'll get there in a moment.
Okay.
There's something alluring to me about a special edition, and there's a period of time when I was buying low value special editions. So what I mean is, like, I bought the Samus Returns one on 3DS, similar cardboard box, different system, but similar box.
Sure.
Because it was like $10 more, and it came with an extra item. I did the same thing with Kingdom Hearts 3. I have no fucking idea why.
Was the extra item the amiibo?
No, it was a keychain and a soundtrack.
Oh, sure, okay.
And I kept the keychain in my backpack until it fell off at school one day.
Those things can fit in a 3DS case.
They could, but it's fun to put it in the box.
Did you ever get the Cave Story Plus Switch release, which the case bulges a little bit because they put all the stuff inside the Switch case, so it's kind of chubby. It's funny.
No, but I got Wonder Boy, and Wonder Boy did a similar thing.
Nicholas does that with a lot of their games.
And
aren't they like bad or something?
Yeah, I honestly don't know why, but apparently they are. So fuck you, Nicholas.
All right, I got it open.
They come in they had like CDs on the, like some soundtracks on the side of CD.
Yeah. I got a tiny little CD of the Cave Story soundtrack.
I don't know what I would do with that.
It's like a GameCube size. All right. Smells like a leg strap. I can't smell. All right. Nintendo Switch leg strap, official Nintendo Switch logo. Everyone. Official Nintendo Switch Sports box. Now, if we're to open this up, there's a little bit of a Spocko. It was a Spocko square on the back.
I thought it was Spoko. Is there no? I think there's a couple O's in there that you're forgetting about.
SPOCCO.
But the point I was getting to is that I bought Witcher 3 Wild Hunt on Switch almost explicitly because it came in a box with other things.
Interesting. What did you enjoy those things? Oh wait, no,
No.
I thought there was like a little card with it that was like a little Spocko square trading card, or like not trading card, but what's it called when you mail someone a little card with a little
postcard?
Postcard, yeah. I don't know. Nintendo does some weird shit sometimes, but it's not. It's just the back of the case. Let's open. Pretty lame. Not gonna lie, pretty lame internal art. Probably telling you that you need to pay to play online to access like the majority of the game's content, which is fun. And
Yeah.
of course, cartridge. Tastes just as good as usual.
I have actually never done. I've never tried to switch cartridge. I'm not going to start. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, that's enough Switch cartridge tasting for today. Thank you everyone for coming to my unboxing video.
Uh-oh, my microphone has been using the wrong input this whole time.
It's fine. You sound okay. Just switch
Okay,
over.
well now I'm on my Yeti. That probably sounds better.
Actually, barely different.
Oh, well that's not a great endorsement for my $200 Yeti. Here's my Switch Sports unboxing. I bought it digitally.
Yeah, of course you did.
By the way, how much did yours cost?
$50.
50. Okay.
It's 10 extra to get the physical.
The reason I was curious is I was wondering if I got screwed because it's 40 on eShop. Well, obviously there's no digital leg strap, so I didn't know if it was also 40 physical and you just get a leg strap for free. But I also have one because I have Ring Fit.
Yeah. All right, that's it. Thank you for joining us, folks. We're here to talk about games now. Abram.
Oh,
I
thought you were gonna end the episode.
No. We got games to talk about yet.
Yeah.
I want to start by picking up a thread from last time, which you started, and a game you recommended to me that I've since completed, and that is Memoir Blue, which I believe is technically the April BLB Game Club game, but who the fuck was paying attention to that? Clearly not me. So I played a Memoir Blue about a week ago. It was one of the first games I played, short game, getting back into my game experimentation. And I talked a big game last time. I rewatched our Memoir Brew discussion from last episode. Brew. Talking about how I really appreciate smaller, more artistic games like this that sort of challenge the notion of what interactivity in video games can be. And I think that this is one of my least favorite examples of that. But I think it is a totally fine game for what it is. It took me... I have the exact time because I'm a fucking nincompoop. It took me exactly an hour, almost exactly an hour to finish it. And I think, perfectly length because of that. But I think my main disconnect from it is I'm not a big fan of things that lean into, like, poetic storytelling. And this is a very metaphorical game.
Symbolism drives the narrative.
Yeah, and items and people and places will just show up out of nowhere, and things will sort of morph as you're sort of trying to piece together what the narrative of this young woman's life is. And all of it, I found it visually pleasing. I like how the art style is a combination of 3D art and 2D art that represents her memories. I thought a few of the gameplay moments with their light interactivity were clever. But all in all, I don't think it's particularly memorable to me. I didn't find the soundtrack as emotionally wrenching as things like Abzu or Florence, two of my favorite game soundtracks. I thought this game was okay, and I'd say on Game Pass for free, it's totally worth free, and it's totally worth an hour putting into it if you do resonate with games like this. But it didn't really stick with me as much as I hoped it would.
No, I think that's fair, and in my opinion, I think that might be because this is far more of an interactive experience than a straight up game. It kind of, that line gets blurry, but the way I might think about it is like when you're playing in VR, there's a very clear delineation between what feels like an experience and what feels like a game.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that this operates similarly in a sense that it's more about the immersion of the narrative and like the audio visual experience opposed to the buttons you push.
Absolutely.
And so because of that, I think the fact that it is an hour long and it is, in my opinion, quite beautiful, it works. But if it had been 2 hours long, even, I'm not sure it would have worked nearly as well for me. So.
Yeah.
I have honestly an indiscriminate number of games to talk about. So
perfect.
I'm just gonna.
I don't discriminate, so that's perfect.
And if I run out of games, I run out of games. Who cares? I want to talk about a game we actually reviewed. I think one of our best reviews ever, Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Oh, we're returning.
Yes,
to the Forgotten Land.
Because as people may or may not know, I was in COVID jail, also known as quarantine,
which is going to be influencing our list of games that we're talking about today immensely.
Yeah, and so all I had in there with me was my Switch, and so I just wanted something that felt, warm and not too
you didn't carry your PS5 and Xbox Series X under both arms. You're like, I just brought the bare essentials.
I did not. And so I hopped back into Forgotten Land because it's a game that really has been on my mind since beating it, because I really did love it so much. I wanted to immerse myself in that post game a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what I did. I finished all of the sub games, all of their different difficulty levels to get the trophies, and then I did the entirety of the Lionel post game.
Now, two questions.
Yes.
By trophies, do you mean like little collectible things?
Yes.
There are things related to that. I
Right.
didn't know that because, frankly, I never got to the end
Sure.
of any of the minigames, which is actually something we didn't bring up in our review. But I do think that the amount of minigames and their simplicity is a little bit underwhelming, especially when compared to the robust nature and vast difference in previous Kirby game sub-games. I don't think it's a problem here because I've never been super into the Kirby sub-games, but I know they're an important part of the series, and it does feel like they're a pretty big afterthought in this. There certainly could have been more of them in Waddle Dee Village. They certainly could have been larger scale, even more levels or more levels of difficulty within each one, I think would have helped, but it's like, 3 levels of difficulty on the 3 or 4 that exist, and they're all very simple.
They're actually 6 on the Tilt and Tumble game.
Oh, really? Okay, I only ever saw 3 that there were 3.
But I'm fucking so bad at those ones. So I only did. You need to do 3 to get the collectible, and then the other one's basically just bonus. But I agree with you. I think that actually the ones on 3DS got a little bit too big to where they made more sense as eShop titles.
Yeah.
But I think where I would agree with you is that I would have wanted a couple more of these across the town. But nonetheless, I finished those, and I did the actual post game adventure to go find the shards of Lionel's soul.
Yep.
And as I said on a video that's not out yet about our favorite games on Switch,
I heard of that.
Yeah, I said that the post game brought Kirby Forgotten Land for me to a 5 stars out of 5 stars game.
Yeah.
And there really are not that many games, period, that I consider to be 5 out of 5 stars. But for me, the post game just was so deliberate and so, I think, inventive in its ability to recontextualize that main game. In a similar way to like the Meta Knight, I forget what it's called now, but the Meta Knight subgame in Superstar. That it just really was the perfect bow on top of the package for me, to where the entire experience felt so cohesive. It forced me to go back and engage with the item upgrades and do more challenge roads, and I came to really realize how awesome and how actually nuanced those upgraded capabilities were.
Yeah, sure.
Like I ended up going for the Crystal Needle one. That because the final 2 bosses on wild mode were actually kind of kicking my ass a little bit. So it's like, hey, I need to go back, upgrade Crystal Needle, upgrade its power, then on top of that, so I can fuck up the bosses and just the little ways that it changes the entire meta game there, I think is so phenomenal. The extra bosses you encounter in the post game, including one that I'm not going to spoil, but it's kind of like a Kirby staple who makes his appearance very late in the post game, was all really excellent. And I really, really love this game, and I'm hopeful that it is going to get post-release content.
Sure, I would say that's not unlikely, especially considering the track record of Star Allies, but also that is a very different game from multiple angles. So I would say I see this more taking a extra world or 2 as a DLC drop for $10-15, that kind of approach. But not the sort of breadth of expansion that Star Allies got. I don't see that applying here.
Well, I think the other difference is that Star Allies just did not feel finished. It did not feel
content
complete.
Yeah.
Right. This feels content complete to me.
The name of the game is Star Allies, and the amount of... Are they called Dream Friends or are they called Star Allies in the game? I can't fucking remember. But Friends? I think they're Dream Friends. The amount of them in the base game is quite peculiar. I think it might only just be like DD Meta Knight and Banana Waddle Dee or something like that.
There were more, like you could play as Chef Kawasaki and stuff, which was fun, but the point is they added a lot, but I think more substantially, because I actually thought adding characters to DLC for that game made sense. What didn't make sense though is that they added basically a whole other campaign at the end, like a harder campaign. Like if that had been in the base game, I would have appreciated it. But here, I don't think that's the case. The game feels so content complete.
Absolutely.
I could see them either taking the more traditional like Fire Emblem or Zelda type expansion. But I would also even just love an even more truncated sort of post game thing that stitches the levels together in a sub-hour long length, and it becomes like a time attack mode. Where you play it, you can play as DDD or play as Meta Knight, which is basically what they do in Superstar. But I think there are ways to repurpose this content and then give us other playable characters to change, because the gameplay here, this tempo is all about collectibles and slow exploration. It would be fun to give us more of a time attack mode too. So I think there's opportunities there, but I have to say that this is certainly the most pleased I've been with a Switch game, even above things like Metroid Dread, in a very, very long time. So
Yeah. Now, how does it shape up against my assertion at the beginning of the review that it is the best Kirby game? Does that shift at all for you now that you've bumped it to 5 out of 5? Would you give Superstar Ultra 5 out of 5? I'm not sure we've ever really discussed that, but
personally, so the reason it's hard is because Superstar Ultra is such an important game to me and has been for like 15, 16 years,
yeah,
right?
Glad you checked your watch on that one.
So it's going to be the sort of thing where I'm going to play Forgotten Land a couple more times as time unfolds, and I can make a better judgment.
Yeah.
But I'll put it this way: I think it is probably the best Kirby game, and I will confidently say that in a couple months' time.
Sure.
But I'm unsure if it's my favorite. It is absolutely my second favorite, but that is a tougher nut to crack than best, I think.
Well, I have nothing else to add about Kirby because I haven't played it since we reviewed it. But another game that I played, I jumped to something else that was short and on Xbox Game Pass, and that is, of course, Paparazzi. This is an Xbox exclusive indie game that is sort of a Pokemon Snap / Toem like, in which you take pictures of dogs. And the game recognizes that that's its only thing, and it certainly leans into this mildly obnoxious but kind of charming doggo speak through the fact that all the characters are dogs and very, very bare bones story. But I think it's okay. I think it's charming. I think it's got its own identity, and clearly the people who made it care a lot. But it is very bare bones in its gameplay, and I don't actually think that controlling quote unquote your character, which is just in the world, I think this is actually really fun. In the world of the game, your character is a camera with legs. And so you're like this little red camera, and you've got two rubbery legs, and you'll stick one of your legs out to pet one of the dogs. So it's a charming little contextualization of that, but moving that camera character around, I think, is a little bit choppy. And the game doesn't look very good. It's simple polygonal characters for the dogs in the environment. And with very basic, pretty robotic animations. So on a technical quality perspective, I don't really think it's there, which holds it back from being something that is something I want to spend a lot of time in. Though it is very charming, it's very simple, it knows what it is, and I think it's a great game to hop in for. It took me an hour and 45 to
That's
finish,
my question.
on Xbox Game Pass. So of course, if you have that, you get to try it for free.
Yeah, I think I actually downloaded this game because it's like an early January game where nothing else is happening, but I never played it.
Yeah.
And frankly, I'm not big into the whole doggo meme speak. I think the game has a clear audience. I'm just not sure I fall within it. So it's probably gonna be a skip for me. But I like the title. I like a good pun.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got a great title, and they do sort of play into that sort of punish nature and everything being dogs in a way that isn't the annoying doggo speak, and it is fun to. They've got tons of dogs, and of course, believe it or not, with a little Dogopedia or whatever, and they're all wearing different little hats and stuff like that. So it's definitely cute and fun. And Anna was on the couch next to me watching me play it, and she was just giggling every time I saw a new dog. So okay game. That's where I come down on.
Sure. I have a rock block from a particular series that we're going to talk about. But
here at BLB love a good rock block.
Yes. We're not going to get there yet, though, because I feel like personally that's the centerpiece of my week.
Sure. Let's end the episode with a rock block then.
Yeah.
And if you've been in the Discord, you know exactly what we're fucking talking about.
Right. I'm going to talk instead about Mario Party Superstars.
Oh, okay.
Because it's another revisit. It's a game that we reviewed. I was not too keen on either in my Retro Air review. May Retro Air rest in peace, or BLB review. May BLB continue to prosper in life. But this is a great game for being in COVID jail, because my girlfriend, Jean, she got COVID from me, not a great surprise. And so it's a nice, laid-back, long-form game for us to play when either she was in jail or I was in jail, and we're just keeping up that way. And so I found a lot to like about the game when I separated myself from my expectations of it, which is both a positive and a negative.
Yeah, sure.
But it's to say that I think if you just take this game on its face, it's not very content deep.
Yeah,
It needed, I think, more
of
of
everything.
everything.
Yeah. Though I
But
would say actually, I do think that of course I'm just spinning on a tangent here. I
yeah.
do think that the number of mini games is
Oh, the mini game is good.
solid.
Yes.
I wouldn't need more mini games.
No, I've played. I think my Switch play clock. I'll check right now. I think it's 15 hours or more. By the way, still fucking infuriated that
It's
we
not
can't know
specific.
how
Yeah.
long we played our games for because Nintendo has to know in order to tell us that. But I digress. Yeah, 15 hours or more, and I still haven't played all of the mini games.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just take it at its face, if you just take it for the gameplay experience that it is, I think there is fun to be had in just core Mario Party.
Yeah.
Rolling around the boards, I started to get a little bit of a deeper appreciation for the more complex ones, Peach's Birthday Cake, but particularly Horrorland. And so we had a great time. We probably played 4 or 5 full boards in the last couple of days. So that's like a board a day, an hour or so every time we'd play. And so I would like to see this game not die.
Yeah.
And what I mean to say is I would be more than happy to pay $20 for an expansion that gives us 3 more boards
Yeah.
and maybe a new mode or something, because the foundation really is here. It just
Absolutely.
needs more.
So. And I do think that was what we came down on
Right.
In our review as well, and why I felt it was important to be critical of it.
Yes.
It's not because the game was flawed on any technical level, on any performance level, on any gameplay level, but just that as a return to form for Mario Party, as a recapturing of the fact that they are just reutilizing old content,
Right.
and that's supposed to be a celebration of the series, it is lackluster, and it could have been done and should have been done way better than it was. So I'm not. I still enjoyed the game. It's a game that I guess I would like to go back to, and I think the perfect opportunity for that for me would be if they add DLC and it comes with the NSO expansion pack.
Which
I think
probably
that would be
would.
perfect. So I'm not opposed to going back to it, and I certainly would like to experience more Mario Party in my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, good game.
I think with distance from its release, I'm less frustrated by what it lacks and view it more as a good foundation that I hope does not stop there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avoiding the rock block slightly further, let's hop over to WarioWare Snapped. This comes again from my purchase of a load of 3DS eShop games. This is a DSiWare game, early DSiWare, I believe. A WarioWare game designed only. What the fuck are you up to? Designed only with use of the DSi and subsequently 3DS's camera. And I was shocked by how little there is in this game. Like, it is pretty impressive. And I'm not even joking when I say this. I think watching through the credits takes longer than playing every mini game in this game. I think it is a great idea. I think it's a great idea to have a small WarioWare game. I think it has a nice little hand-drawn aesthetic to it. I think it is a good game for paying $4 for it and dicking around and being experimental. But it is so insanely small. This game includes 4 campaigns where you play through a little roller coaster of 5 mini games.
Right.
So 20 mini games total, 5 of which are only available with co-op. So I was not able to experience them. So I played 15 WarioWare games. I played each campaign that I had access to two or three times because I just was like, I kind of wanted to get my money's worth out of this. But yeah, I'm really conflicted about it because I think it's fun for what it is.
Yeah.
But it's a game that I almost say is not worth the money because it's so surprisingly content light.
Let me spin a yarn for you because I've actually played this game. This game holds a weird place in my heart. The reason I said that is because the year that the DSi was coming out, I want to say that was 2010, but I could be off by a year in either direction.
Yeah.
I really
this game came out in 2008, so I think.
Oh, so I was way
earlier
off.
than that.
Yeah. Okay. The point is, the DSi comes out whatever year it is. As I think as we starting to become clear, I have a very poor ability to remember anything that happened in my early life. But the point is, I wanted a DSi so fucking badly.
Hold on. DSi released in April 5th, 2009. How does this game come out in 2008 then?
Is it
I'm
possible
gonna
that
have to
that's
do
a
a little bit of
Japanese
research.
versus US release date? Maybe. But the point is, I wanted one so badly. Obviously, did not have the money for that at 8 years old.
Yeah.
So Christmas eventually rolls around, and I get a navy blue DSi for Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes with WarioWare Snap built into the system.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Perfect packing game.
right, because the DSi, obviously Nintendo's first experiment with downloadable handheld titles.
Downloadable. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Or I guess
and
did Nintendo make any downloadable games for WiiWare?
you don't
I
ask me a question like that on the top of my head.
all right. I'm just curious because I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yes, because like there's Dr. Mario on WiiWare, right? Things like
Sure.
that.
Oh, sure. I guess that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they definitely did. Again, like fluidity and stuff. I think
Oh,
is
did they
first
make
party.
Fluidity?
I don't ask me questions like this. I don't quite know, and there's really no way to even know or care anymore because all that content is lost to time.
That's a good point.
But so there was a lot of weird experimentation this era, like Photo Dojo is another one I had, which is similarly barren. But the idea of let's use the gimmicks of the DSi
Yeah.
to enable new gameplay experiences,
Mhm.
and they try here. I remember not really caring that it didn't work very well as a kid because it was just A, the magic of a new Nintendo system on Christmas.
Yeah.
B, I didn't have it like a smartphone or anything. So this is like my first device that took pictures
Sure,
and recorded
interesting.
video and
Yeah.
stuff. So there was a real novelty to it for me.
Mhm.
But I'm sure that if I tried to play it today, I would have literally zero patience for it and I would turn it off immediately.
Yeah, so I found it to work pretty much perfectly 80% of the time.
Sure.
Which of course this means out of each group of mini games, there's only 5 mini games. 4 of them would work perfectly, and then the 5th one just would not pick up my existence for whatever reason. And then it would be like little bomb fuses go boop boop boop. Okay, time's up, and there's no
Sure.
consequence for failing the mini game because it's not like this is high score based. You are able to just move on to the next one, so it's not like you have to restart or anything. There's no stakes in this game. Of course, it's WarioWare, so there's not really stakes. Period. But it does feel like it's stripped of any gameplay loop or design philosophy, other than we have a camera and the camera can do approximately 20 funny things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm glad I give this a try. I think it's an interesting experiment for Nintendo. It's an interesting pocket of Nintendo history. But you can watch someone play this, and while you technically won't get the same experience, you'll have saved money, which is probably better for you.
Yes. Yes, I've got this game to talk about. Let's talk about Kirby Squeak Squad.
Oh, yeah.
This game is
That was me squeaking.
This is actually another one that goes back to a similar era in my life. This, I believe, is one of, if not the first game that I beat by myself.
Oh, okay.
And I remember actually calling my aunt, who is one of the main people in my life responsible for making me really fall in love with games and Nintendo in particular. So I remember calling her on the phone, like, I beat Squeak Squad. The game is Kirby. If you were to play this game, this would just be. I think that this game would be the archetype of what you don't like about Kirby.
Sure. Yeah. Which, by the way, you say if. No, let's change that. It's when. I will play this game at some point in my life.
It's very short. I think I beat it in like 2.5 hours or so. I think the game is still fun because I think that what's interesting about its situation in just like the pantheon of Kirby games is it came after a number of experimental ones, 64, Amazing Mirror and stuff.
Yeah.
So in many ways, this game feels very traditional Kirby, but I wonder if that's like just what it needed to be, you know?
Sure. At the time,
yeah. Let's take a second to reset, take us back to SNES tenets for a second and do this. And the experience ends up being, I think, one that is actually I think one of the your positives would be thinking of Mine of Tucker Hazel, which is a scary thing to do.
Yeah.
Great aesthetic cohesion. This world has a much greater sense of place while retaining the sort of dreamland aesthetic, but not just feeling like shit all over the place.
Yeah.
So I think that's to its benefit. I think that the Squeaks, the villainous team, have minor effect on gameplay, but it's still fun to be fighting a different faction in the Kirby game, right?
Yeah.
So there are good elements here, but it is Kirby through and through and through and through and through.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot that's surprising here. there's not a whole lot that's particularly unique.
Mm-hmm.
But if you like Kirby, you're gonna like Squeak Squad, and if you don't like Kirby, you're not gonna like Squeak Squad, and that's I think about where the narrative of this game ends.
Sure. Yeah, that's interesting. I think the one last questions that I have about it, unless
Yeah.
you have another tangent to go on about this game, is how does it utilize the DS touchscreen or dual screen or
Yeah.
anything?
I think it actually does an okay job at that. Basically, what happens is there are it's weird. Basically, the touchscreen is kind of Kirby's stomach.
Oh,
There,
I think I've heard about this.
yeah,
Where you can combine items or something like that.
yes. So there are they're basically like in bubbles. If you just swallow a regular enemy, you'll just immediately digest them and get their ability. But there's some items
Yeah.
that you can basically swallow and store in Kirby's stomach.
Yeah. Why is it quote unquote stomach? Of course.
Because
Doesn't it make sense that it's a stomach?
it kind of does, but it's not. It's just like a random star pattern on the touch screen, and like
Maybe
it's
that's
never.
what it looks like on the inside.
You know what? I don't want to discriminate. It's a good point, but it's a very surface level system.
Yeah.
There is item combination, but it's only to make sword different elemental types. The reason I bring this up is because Kirby 64 has super robust and amazing item combination. Like you can combine fire and bomb and you become fireworks Kirby, electricity and ice and you become refrigerator Kirby.
Yeah.
Like that game is so creative in its copy abilities. This is nowhere near that. And I know some of the sub games are explicitly touchscreen based, and I remember playing some of those. Like there's this one where I don't remember the exact setup, but you're like having an eating competition with one of the squeaks, and like you have to click on the things that are food or not food. So it's again, it's simple. It's early DS stuff. So it's not particularly robust, but they try.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I will cross paths with Kirby Squeak one day, and I'll probably come back with negative experience.
Yeah, some cool copy abilities.
How much more do you have left before the rock block? Because I have one, and I can do a second non-rock block game.
I don't think I have anything else.
Okay, perfect then. So let's go with our final non-rock block game, which is another downloadable title that I have on my 3DS, which of course I have started, Pushmo. The Pushmo series is...
I played this also, actually.
Oh, okay.
I read about that.
Then let's have a little mini Pushmo rock block here. Pushmo is a... If you're familiar with 3DS's downloaded titles, it's one of the premier series that Nintendo puts out, developed by Intelligent Systems. Weirdly enough, how the fuck did they end up with the idea for Pushmo? But this is a puzzle game through and through. Yeah. It is tightly designed, intended just for this one gameplay experience. And I find the pushing and pulling of these blocks to try to mess with your sense of space and how can very simple platforming be worked into a pretty complex design of pushing and pulling. It's cool. I think it's a good game. I am surprised by how much there is in this game. There's a lot of levels in this game.
Yeah.
I think there's something like 150 levels of Pushmos. Because the Pushmo are the puzzles, which I didn't. I knew the character was Mallow, but I didn't know what Pushmo meant. I think it's a good game. I certainly want to keep trying more of it, but I feel like I get it. I don't really think I need to get frustrated and stuck on a Pushmo 3/4 of the way through the game for me to be like, oh, this is why this puzzle system is so interesting. I've played the first like 3 worlds or 3 little groups of levels, which each have their own theme, quote unquote. And it's good. It's charming, but it's really quite simple.
Yeah, I think it speaks to a core contention, and I think it's the sort of thing where like you are just not playing it the way they want you to play it. I think Pushmo is the sort of game where you're supposed to play 1 or 2 puzzles and then leave it and come back.
Sure, yeah.
And the reason I bring this up is because I think binging it's not the right way to play, but I also think Pushmo World, which is how I was playing, is also not the right way to play.
Okay.
Because again, it's the exact same experience on Wii U, but I ran into a very similar fatigue issue as you of like, yeah, I get it, but I'm also stapled to this chair playing on the TV, wherein I think that Pushmo really succeeds in the way that I actually played it back when it was new on 3DS, or maybe I played one of the sequels, because there's a fuck ton of Pushmo games.
There's 4 Pushmo games total?
Which seems like more Pushmo games than it needs to be.
Pushmo, Stretchmo,
Shove-mo, Jump-mo. No, Crash-mo is the other one.
Oh, Crash-mo, yeah, and then Pushmo World, yeah.
But it's the sort of thing of like, I think that it is probably meant to be played one or two puzzles at a time, because I agree with you. I
Yeah.
don't think it has the depth to really sustain itself past that.
Yeah.
And so I played the first couple of worlds, got the idea,
Got
and
it.
called it a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I think maybe that's how I will approach it as an
yeah.
overtime game. It'll
Sure,
be
sure, sure.
interesting to see if it is able to hold my attention over time like that, because I think there's a very delicate balance to be struck here, and
Yeah.
it doesn't work to binge, but if it's too simple and I feel like I get it, will I want to come back and play a couple more levels, or do I feel like I understand Pushmo and golly gee, that's fine for me. Yeah, it's a good game. It's
Yeah.
creative, it's clever, it's simple. I think it works great as a downloadable title, something that cost me
Definitely.
probably $8, $10, something like
Yeah, I think
that.
that's what it is.
I think it's perfect for that, and I do think that the gameplay and the fun little characters and everything have enough charm to where I would want to see it expanded. I think
Sure, yeah.
a fun little hub world where you can build up your own little Pushmo park, interact with a couple little characters, play some
Yeah.
Pushmo mini games, have a couple things that alter the gameplay a little more. I'm not sure if they add items or power-ups in the future games. Like,
Yeah.
of course, I'm playing the original one, so that's the most bare bones you're going to get for Pushmo. But I do think this has enough creativity in it to where I would want to see it revisited and put into a more robust and variety-filled context.
Yeah.
How does that apply to Pushmo World?
Well, so Pushmo World does have, first of all, a full level creator and like shit.
The
It's
first one has a level creator as well. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So that's less special. But like there are other areas to go to. I frankly didn't even bother. I was just going through the puzzles, but it is a richer experience.
Sure.
But again, it's just like this. The central mode of pushmoing does not hold my interest in a long form thing. And I like, if it was on Switch right now, if we had a new Pushmo on Switch, I think that would be best, because then it's, hey, I'm turning on my Switch because I'm going to play X game or Y game. But before I do that, why don't I just solve a Pushmo puzzle or two?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think that not only would a more robust gameplay structure help, as you're saying, but I think this hot rod right here would help too.
Absolutely. And just the spark of it being new and being able to take cues from the previous games and stuff. Yeah. I think it should be revisited, but will it? No fucking way. No fucking way we get another Pushmo game on the Switch.
Who knows?
But it's also a game that doesn't require the 3DS's features to
Right.
work in the way it does. So it easily could be put on Switch.
That's a good point.
Rockblock time.
I was gonna do a little bit of research.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to start talking then?
No, I want to take a minute actually.
Oh, okay. We're going to do research together.
Yeah, not only because I want to check the other worlds that are in here, but because I'm curious, because you've been poking at an idea here a little bit here in this episode, and actually last time too. You're playing some of these downloadable DSiWare 3DS eShop titles. Are there more on this list that you either have or that you're imminently going to buy?
I would like to buy more because I believe we're getting damn close to the not being able to add your credit card to the Wii U/3DS eShop. So yes, I also own some more. I have the original Box Boy, which I would like to play. I have Stretch Mode, but that is a free to play game where you need to buy specific packs. So maybe I'll just see what's in the base game of Stretch Mode and see how different that is. I have Rusty's Real Deal Baseball, which I believe is also a game that is free to play and requires some coin drops. Pocket Card Jockey.
That's one I really would like to play. That one. That one is pretty high on my list.
Dr. Mario Miracle Cure and Express.
Yes.
And then I also have all the downloadable free-to-play games that Nintendo put out, including Steel Diver Sub Wars, which actually I have physically. Why did that game come out physically? I have no idea.
No,
Pokemon
isn't that a sequel?
What?
Isn't Sub Wars a sequel to Steel Diver regular?
Still, who the fuck?
I think.
No one cares.
No one cares.
Pokemon Shuffle, Mini Mario and Friends and People Challenge, and
I have that one.
Team Kirby Deluxe.
Sure.
So I've got a number of them on here. Most of them I didn't purchase; they're free to play. There are other ones that I would still like to get. I mean, I also have not delved into the Wii U's eShop yet.
There is a way less on the Wii U eShop in terms of original software. It is way more about virtual console.
Mm-hmm.
But let's before we move on to the final segment of the day, let's do a little bit of a live video tour here. So you've got the main Pushmo Park, and this is where you go into all the different puzzle levels. This is
Pushmos.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I just quick question.
And you
Spoilers for
Pushmo.
Spoilers for Pushmo. you are Mallow. There's a grandpa guy who's making Pushmos, and there's a little rascally guy who
Papa
gets
Blocks?
Is that his name? I don't if
We can visit Papa Blocks.
There's a little rascally guy who's getting all the kids stuck inside the Pushmos. Is the story the exact same in Pushmo World?
I mashed through the story in Pushmo World. I have no fucking idea. You can collect stamps. It's very basic. I guess I was not quite. This is the extent of the hub area here, so it's not really a good hub area.
So it's almost identical in Pushmo, except for it's a menu. You don't walk around.
And then this is Pushmo City where you build the stuff, and then this obviously shut down. Miiverse is shut down. So so there's really nothing more here.
Yeah.
In essence. Okay.
Though you said stamps, I think that might be a collectible that's not in the original, which is.
If I had to wager, it's probably tied into Miiverse, which is also shut down.
Oh, unfortunate.
So bring back Pushmo.
Yeah.
Intelligent systems. You've got nothing better to do.
Though I do want to quickly. Wait, I forgot. Hold on. I'm trying to find. I have a list of the games I'd still like to buy, at least on 3DS eShop. I don't think I've done.
I want to play the Dylan games.
Yeah, I'd like to get one of those.
They're also
more expensive.
Price.
Yeah.
Or I don't think they started as full price, but I know Dead Heat Breakers is full price.
Yeah. No, I can't fucking find my notes. Whatever.
I would like to play the Guild 01 and Guild 02 series, which are like short vignette games from famous Japanese creators. Like the only one I have is Liberation Maiden from Suda 51, but those are really interesting games. John Cartwright, actual friend of the show, has a really great video on this topic, so people should go check that out.
Yes. It's time. He's doing a little bit of self-comedy where he takes off his Nintendo shirt and reveals that he actually hates... Oh, belly button! He actually hates Nintendo. He is now a Sonic fan. Yep, and that's why you got a little Japanese Sonic shirt. That's a very good shirt. I actually like that shirt quite a bit.
Yeah, I love the shirt. It's from Foot Locker.
Oh. Well, I don't like feet, so...
I do.
I'm a Scat fan, you're a feet fan. Let's make that canon.
So, Tucker, to end out this episode, I have played 4 Sonic games in the past week.
Yeah.
3 of them have finished. 1 of them we've reviewed.
Yeah.
Which is Sonic Forces.
Yes.
That's coming imminently. So I have 3 Sonic games to talk about, 2 completions, and just a 3rd one. How many Sonic games do you have to talk about?
I have 2 Sonic games to talk about. I wish I had a 3rd, but I have not gotten to it yet.
Sure.
So you should start with one of yours, obviously.
Yes. So, boy, howdy.
Sonic.
I tell the same story in our Sonic Force review, so I'm just going to give the real short TLDR. The night before I'm supposed to get out of COVID jail, I've got a couple hours to kill. I want a game I can just beat in that span of time. So I end up playing the first one I'm going to talk about here, which is Sonic 2, which really reconnected me to a latent love of Sonic that I have. And then I just got on a search and destroy mission to play a bunch of Sonic games. So let's begin with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Actually, you know what? I don't want to do that.
No?
I want to begin with yours.
Oh, sure. I guess that makes sense if we're going to want to go a little bit chronologically here. Not the first Sonic game I played. Actually, the last Sonic game I've played in real life chronology. But I played and finished the original Sonic the Hedgehog through Sega Genesis Classics Collection because it is not on Genesis Online, which is, I think, a little bit of a peculiar omission. Not that there's not a ton of peculiar omissions from the fucking online libraries. But so... The original Sonic the Hedgehog, I think, is interesting for one main reason is that it is impressive how fully formed out of the womb Sonic the Hedgehog as a character came. Coins, obviously. Dr. Eggman, obviously. Green Hill Zone, obviously. Everything about Sonic, like everything in the basics of Sonic are there from the beginning, and I think that is just because they've sort of pulled these tenets forward to the rest of the franchise. But the funny thing about Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is that there is approximately 1.5 good stages out of the 6 stages in this game. This game doesn't quite recognize that Sonic is at its best when there is a flow of momentum and instead tries to pull design tenets from other franchises where you are doing more precise platforming, which absolutely does not work for Sonic because he's so fucking slippery in this game. Or you're waiting around on floating platforms, or you're waiting for something to come around. There's also a very long underwater level, which is incredibly infuriating, and there's very little way to avoid being underwater in this long ass stage, which is Labyrinth Zone, which is notorious. But I think that it's funny to me that Sonic pretty fully formed, but basically only for Green Hill Zone. Green Hill Zone, great. I think it's a good stage.
Marble Zone begins to go downhill.
And Marble Zone, literally the second stage of the game, it begins to go downhill. And then I don't really think it picks up, pun intended, momentum after that. Spring Yard Zone is fine. I think it's an okay stage. Labyrinth Zone sucks. And then there's Starlight Zone, which is, I think, pretty much a mess. And Scrap Yard Zone, I think, is the last one, which is also kind of a mess. So, like 1.5, maybe 2 good stages in this game. But it's like it took me like an hour and 45 to beat it. I'm glad I played it for contact's sake for the rest of the franchise, but it kind of follows my same problems that I've always mentally had with Sonic.
Yeah.
But I also recognize, and especially also recognized with Sonic Forces, that these are not the highlights of the series, and of course it grows from here. And I'm interested to play Sonic 2, which is what I was saying. I wish I'd played a third game. I wish I'd played Sonic 2.
Sure.
I've not gotten around to it. That'll probably hit me within the next week.
Yes, because I've never beaten Sonic 1. I, in hindsight, very unfortunately, I never knew this was a problem to do as a kid. But unfortunately, my first exposure to Sonic the Hedgehog 1 was Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis on GBA,
Okay.
which is a notoriously terrible port.
Sure. Yeah.
Considered to be one of the bad ports of all time. But I saw Sonic on the box. I was like, Mom, I need this one. So I ended up with that game. Having revisited it at various points in time since, you're totally right. The level design here just betrays the gameplay experience.
Yeah.
So I think what's amazing about this game is the way that it was. I'm not sure goodness is necessarily even the right barometer for Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Mm-hmm. I think talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 1 in terms of iconic status is a lot more productive.
Yeah.
Because Sonic the Hedgehog was so fucking iconic that people forget that the game that the Genesis was out for 2 years before Sonic the Hedgehog and was getting absolutely fucking walloped.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog in the US saved Genesis.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
And the reason that they were able to compete with Nintendo is because Sonic the Hedgehog won.
Yeah.
And I think it's a testament to the fact that the iconography of the classic Sonic the Hedgehog games is fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. I love the design of classic Sonic. I love the design of the Badniks. I think I really like the 90s aesthetic for the zones and everything. It's definitely subjective, but that world I've always found so cool. And I think it's just technically impressive. And that technically impressive quality extends right into Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah.
Which I think is a brilliant game. Now, it is certainly flawed, and I think I would have a less positive experience had I not had access to save states. Because there are moments, particularly the final fight, wherein the game just does not give you rings. They're like, okay, you want to defeat the final boss? Don't get hit.
Yeah.
So there is still jank in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I think, addresses your rightful issue with Sonic 1, which is a level design.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I talked about this a little bit in the Forces review, as good Sonic should, there are very few wrong jumps. It's about, for me, it's about the wonder of, okay, I missed that platform, but now I'm running on this other platform. Now suddenly I'm in this corkscrew, right?
Yeah.
It's like, wow, there is so much going on here that I would love to just look. I just like to look at an entire zone.
Yeah.
On my computer.
Which you can. There's maps of them online. Yeah.
And just trace it with my finger. Just try to find all the different ways to the stages, because I think that there's a different kind of mastery to level design there that I personally find very, very compelling. So I really think Sonic the Hedgehog 2 just punches everything from Sonic the Hedgehog 1 up to a much higher level of quality.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I fully expect that I'll enjoy this game a lot more. I do think that I'm interested to keep playing Sonic, as this applies to many of the series that I'm not initially a huge fan of. Interested to keep experimenting with them to try and find maybe when the games click with me, I start to enjoy them more, or has been the case with my experimentation with Kirby, pinpoint why the gameplay formula doesn't work for me, and I'm interested to apply that to Sonic, because before this past week I had only beaten MANIA. I only really played MANIA for any specific extent.
Fantastic game.
Which is probably better than any of the games that we've talked about today. And actually, that might be entirely true. But still, I'm interested to play Sonic 2 because of that, and I'll come back with thoughts next week. But I played a game that's quite similar to Sonic 2.
I was gonna fucking play it too, but it's not on the American eShop.
Which is Sonic Advance, which is a 2D Sonic game for Game Boy Advance. And this is a trilogy, actually. Sonic Advance, I think, is a sub-series that doesn't get talked about very much because, frankly, I was unsure that these games even existed before this past week, or at least in a specific capacity. And Sonic Advance is a 2D Sonic game. And I frankly, it's a better game than Sonic the Hedgehog 1, that is for sure. But I don't think this game has anything special going for it, other than the fact that it's incredibly technically impressive for the Game Boy Advance. It very accurately and faithfully recreates the physics and the graphics and the speed and such from the Genesis, but obviously much smaller, weaker hardware. But that trend, that conversion from home console to handheld and being on the Game Boy Advance and being a new 2D Sonic game, ostensibly people would call it Sonic 4 at the time, is really all I think it has going for it in retrospect. I don't think it's a particularly memorable game. It's just another 2D Sonic game.
Is GBA less powerful than Genesis? I'm trying to think now. The GBA is 32 bits. I think it's more powerful than Genesis.
Oh, well, then that might be true. But
with
regardless,
their sound chip, that's what it definitely has.
Sure.
Because the reason I say that is because, are you familiar with the YouTube channel, The Geek Critique?
Yes, in passing.
The Geek Critique is by far my favorite gaming like
tech channel.
No, they don't really do. He doesn't really do tech. He does
I just guessed.
He does retrospectives.
Oh no, you're right. Sorry, I'm thinking someone else. Doesn't fucking matter.
And I really don't think you'll find better retrospectives about the games that Geek Critique talks about than on the Geek Critique. So I'd really recommend it because he's got a great series on most of Sonic's history as well as a ton of Nintendo stuff. Great Metroid ones. I love his Metroid retrospectives. So I was watching that video. I'm really jealous of you that you got to play it.
Yeah.
I was going to play it, but it turns out it's only on the Japanese Wii U eShop. So I'm gonna have to probably find a physical cartridge of that somewhere. But
well, there are other options. How you told me, hey, I'm gonna play Sonic Advance. I'm like, where's that available? And you're like, Wii U eShop. I'm like, okay, I don't want to buy it on there. Before you told me it wasn't on the Wii U eShop, and I was already playing the game when you told me. I was playing it on an emulator on my computer. When you told me it wasn't available, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna beat it anyway.
Yeah, because the sense that I got from the Geek Critique video is that you seem to be right on the money. Like it was, I mean, the first 2D Sonic game since Sonic CD, I believe, right? So a long time. Brand new Sonic game on a Nintendo system. So all kinds of interesting things about the game, but also a weird pivot point because I believe Sonic Adventure 2, not Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Advance 2 Forward changes that gameplay formula a little bit to be closer and tender to like boost Sonic, because I believe out of Sonic Advance comes Sonic Rush on DS, games people really love, and then Rush Adventure, which is a game I loved as a kid. So there's certainly a lineage there that's important, but you're right, less talked about.
Yeah,
certainly.
I think it's a good game. Yeah, I think for what 2D Sonic is, it's not necessarily my cup of tea, so I did not fall in love with it, but I think it's a good game. What I've heard talking to some other people about this game is that the last level is really borked in terms of its design, and you got to do a couple weird things in order to get to the end of it, which I only halfway noticed because I was save scumming really, 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 really hard. But that's how I'm going to play all these games, so take that with a giant cup of salt.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because I think that there are rough edges to Genesis Sonic that do not feel sanded down at all. And so the reason I say this is because I really want to play Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is basically beyond illegal, largely inaccessible unless you go. Probably the cheapest and easiest way to get your hands on Sonic 3 right now is probably to buy like one of the PS2 GameCube era collections.
Mega collection, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm going to wait for Sonic Origins, which I'm super excited about, which I think is going to be awesome. But like I want to play Sonic. Are you
going to get the premium fun pack?
What's really annoying about that whole thing is that there is a $40 version, and then a deluxe edition. That's all there is.
Which I believe is $45.
Yeah, which encompasses all the content. But Sega just fucked themselves that entire spreadsheet. Ridiculous that they did that because it's not complicated, but this is entirely Sega's fault. I digress. The point is, like, I want to play Sonic CD, and I think I'm going to buy it on Xbox because not only is it only $5, but because Sega is doing the dumb thing in delisting the original versions of the classic Sonic games from most storefronts.
Sure.
They're going to remain on Switch, but I want to at least have the original version in the off chance that we're in a GTA trilogy remaster type of situation.
Yeah. Do you mean the Sega Ages versions are staying around?
I don't know for
There's
sure.
There's so many fucking versions of these games. It is insane.
I don't know if Sega Ages is staying around. I know that they will stay on Nintendo Switch Online, and obviously you can get them through the collections. I'm not sure what the Ages ones.
Interesting.
But like, I would like to have the original, quote unquote, original Sonic CD version.
Yeah, so why specifically the original for Sonic CD? Because Sonic CD is in the Origins collection.
No, I know, but just in case they're bad, in case Origins doesn't it's not faithful, or it's a borked port in some way.
Yeah, and it's the only way you're going to be able to play Sonic 3 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles, so you're going to have to deal with that regardless.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just going to grab CD because it's so cheap and I just like to have it. But I am a little bit concerned about even playing it that way because I don't think that the Xbox 360 version, which is the one on Xbox storefront, I don't think that that's going to have the quality of life stuff necessary to push me through the full game. See what I'm saying? Because like when I would end up in an unfair death pit in Sonic 2, because there are a couple of them towards the back half of the game, or when I was getting fucked by the boss when they literally give you the opportunity to bring 0 rings into the fight, I was just going to rewind. I'm like, I'm not going to do this. Right. So that's a little bit tenuous. So we'll see there. But I'm actually very excited for Sonic Origins.
Final Sonic game?
Final Sonic game. And what I would say is probably my favorite Sonic game so far. Ooh, actually, no. I was a favorite Sonic game the last week. Mania is still my number one.
Sure.
But I played Sonic Generations. Front to back. I celebrated getting out of COVID jail by neglecting all of the homework that I was late on because I was in quarantine, and I just played Sonic Generations for most of that day. Front to back. I'd played this game in the past. On my parents' shitty computer, so it was running really poorly, so it was a nice change of pace to have the game running at a stable frame rate.
Yeah.
I think this game is really, really good. I think it's a very simple narrative framing about how the dimensions get pulled together, so it's this narrative is nothing to write home about, but it works. And the gameplay I just think is really great. Really great level design, sands down basically any of the rough edges of the Genesis games, retains, I think, the feel of classic Sonic, integrates classic Sonic into the modern format really well, and has boost formula Sonic stages that still feel engaging. Like I'm not on autopilot. And I think that the way we move from Genesis to modern Sonic is really compelling. And with the exception of the Sonic Colors stage, which I think is not very strong, because the wisps feel really poorly integrated, it's just hit after hit after hit after hit. Great level design, great set pieces, great soundtrack, really great integration of classic and modern Sonic elements. A great game.
Yeah, it's what I'd like to play.
Yeah.
There's like 4 different factors getting in the way of me playing it, but it's also a game I can get access to. That's not a huge problem. But I've got enough on my plate right now, and frankly, access to enough other Sonic games that I'm not prioritizing playing Generations, though. Yeah. That is one of the games that I will sort of hold up here as this might fix some of my problems with Sonic. I might enjoy this one more, but I want to dabble. I also want to dabble around with more of Sonic's history before I get to that, so I'm able to maybe appreciate that game's historical context a little more, and how each level's theming properly recaptures previous entries and steps in the Sonic franchise. So
I will say that is good to have because it makes some of the moments more fun. Obviously, I didn't connect to all of them because I haven't played Sonic Adventure and things, but the game is not reliant on.
I don't believe it is. I don't. Yeah,
but I just think it's to its benefit because I think that obviously some of these nostalgia plays are like, hey, this thing, here's that thing again. But this I think is smarter than that.
Yeah, so I'll have to look up a list of games that are referenced in Sonic Generations.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. We are now in our Sonic era. We're going to be continuing to play these Sonic games. I will come back with thoughts on Sonic 2 probably before we do the next episode. We have gone halvesies, as it'd say, gone Dutch on a copy of Sonic Colors Ultimate for PlayStation. Yeah. So that's a game that we're both interested in playing.
I've played a little bit of it.
And oh wait, am I losing my mind? Oh no, Sonic
Yes,
CD
you are.
is not in the Genesis collection. Sonic 3D Blast is in the Genesis Mega Drive collection. So I might also
Interesting.
play that. Sonic Spinball is also in that and on SNES Online. Which, by the way, I'm not going to really talk about it, but I played Sonic Spinball while I was waiting for Luigi's Mansion 3 to download, which I have not played yet. But it's an okay game. It's a pinball game. It looks good. It runs fine, but it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. But Sonic intrigues me. I'm enjoying digging myself out of this hole because Sonic was a hole in my gaming knowledge. I was familiar with the characters, and when I go watch Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I believe they play like a remix of the Emerald Hill Zone theme in that fucking movie, but I didn't pick up on it because I never heard the song before. But yeah, Sonic time. We gotta go fast.
Thanks for watching.
Oh, okay.